Before we begin, I'm trying to reach 10,000 subscribers before the end of the year to make all these special videos, so if you like the content here, please consider subscribing to help fulfill Project 10K. Thank you. Now on to the video. Going for about $50 loose and $60 to $80 new in box, Tabinu is easily one of the rarest Tokyo Mater background characters, second to only the elusive Bye Bye Car herself. And while I get why cars like Bye Bye Car or Yojimbo are super expensive online, I never really got the hype behind Tabinu here. In my opinion, Tabinu is probably one of the least interesting looking Tokyo Mater tuners. While he does have a really cool design, it's a pretty generic one with just a few basic colors and some zigzaggy stripy patterns, and while his mold is pretty cool, it's pretty similar to some race cars we've gotten, like, say, Nigel Gearsley is quite a similar shape to Tabinu here. So I never really got all the hype behind him, and Tabinu was never really an item that I found myself going out of my way to want to get. I ended up spending almost $50, the most I've ever spent on a car single to this day, to get Yojimbo because I like him so much, and I could not see myself doing the same for Tabinu as much as I love Tokyo Mater tuners. So, when my friend the Piston 11 offered to sell me Tabinu, a duplicate Tabinu he'd picked up, alongside 15 other super rare cars items for only $100, I knew I had to accept. Considering Tabinu goes for $50 on his own loose, I knew that getting him, and like 15 other cars for $100 was certainly a pretty big deal, and certainly a pretty good deal I could not pass up on. Now, Tabinu has happily been a part of my collection for the past few months, and I've come to like him quite a bit more than I initially did. Anyway guys, welcome back to another review, and to another Tokyo Mater diecast review. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Tabinu, one of the final Tokyo Mater tuners that I need in my collection, so let's get started. As I'm sure many of you are well aware, Tabinu looks very similar to Koji from Cars Mater National. They are almost identical in terms of design. Koji just has some sponsor logos on him and such. Tabinu here, like so many other Tokyo Mater cars, just reused a design of a pre-existing Cars video game character. We saw that with Manji and Otto, and Cho and Emma, and of course Tabinu and Koji. That doesn't mean he isn't still cool, but still, you know, a lot of people are immediately going to see this guy and go, oh yeah, that's Koji from Mater National, when of course it isn't. It's another Japanese car that looks just like him. Another funny thing about Tabinu is that his diecast packaging actually doesn't show a picture of him. It shows a picture of a different car named Tan Sao, who was a Tabinu repaint. It's like Tabinu but gray instead of red. And he was, I believe, supposed to release back in 2010, but he didn't. But his image forever lives on Tabinu's card back. I really like Tabinu's expression here. We, of course, have some pretty cool carbon fiber detailing on the hood. One of the first cars to ever have carbon fiber detailing, something used a lot more later on characters like Max Schnell. I really do like this mold. It's a pretty unique one. It does look pretty reminiscent to some other race cars we've seen over the years, but I really like this sort of cut out blocky part here. Super cool design choice there. You know, Tabinu is a car that, like I said at the beginning of the review, I used to not think all that much of, but I've been using him so much in my Cars Adventure series. This is easily the most I've ever used a car in Cars Adventures without even having reviewed them yet, right? I've really come to respect Tabinu and all of the little nuances of his design, and I like him a whole lot more. While I still think he is one of the less interesting Tokyo Mater cars, I certainly do like him much more than I once did. Some nice details there, like the bumper with the air scoops. Love that white triangle design carrying over, going all the way across the design. Got this little antenna sort of part up there. A really cool spoiler. Love that zigzag shape. We also have the carbon fiber on the spoiler as well. Fully textured in, as you can hear from my nail rubbing against it there. Nothing much going on the back. We do have his exhaust though. And again, not all that much going on the other side. So while Tabinu isn't the most interesting in terms of detail, he's just generally cool. Like, there's really not all that much to say, if you couldn't already tell from the length of this review. It's not the most visually interesting item of all time, but he just looks sick. Like, I can't say anything bad about this guy. I do think he's not all that interesting compared to some other more interesting items like Yojimbo or Komodo, but Tabinu just looks cool, and sometimes that's enough. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to see you guys next time. Bye now. I'll never be as cool as Tabinu from Tokyo Mater.
you.